In the heart of Kumasi, Ghana, there lived a beautiful young woman named Abena, who had everything a person could ask for. But there was one thing missing: a husband. She had been raised with the expectation that, like all the other women in her family, she would marry young, settle down, and bear children to continue the family legacy. But as the years went by, Abena's dreams seemed to slip further away from her grasp. The pressure from her family, friends, and even the whole village weighed heavily on her heart. Abena, don't you want to settle down like your sisters? Look at you, still living under your father's roof. At your age, what are you waiting for? Her mother would say, throwing her hands up in frustration. Her father, though more understanding, wasn't much better. You're beautiful, my daughter. Why do men avoid you? Abena had no answer for them. They were suitors, yes, but none that truly sparkled joy in her heart. Most were either too demanding, too controlling, or too indifferent. Abena longed for the kind of love her grandmother had shared with her grandfather, gentle, deep, and unwavering. But that seemed so far out of reach. The months dragged on, and the pressure only grew. Each family gathering, each visit to the markets felt like a reminder of her single status. Even the villagers began to gossip, suggesting that maybe something was wrong with Abena. One evening, after another failed attempt to meet with a suitor her family had chosen for her, Abena found herself sitting under a tree in the backyard. Her heart heavy, she stared at the stars above, feeling lost and hopeless. Why? Why me? Why does everyone else seem to find love except me? Her prayer was interrupted by the sound of footsteps approaching. It was her grandmother's old friend, Auntie Afia. Auntie Afia had always been a comforting presence, a woman who seemed to have the answer to every problem. Abena, my dear, what's troubling you? Auntie Afia asked. As she sat beside her, Abena poured her heart out to Auntie Afia, speaking of the pressure from her family, her failed relationships, and the deep loneliness she felt. Auntie Afia listened quietly, nodding in understanding. I know a solution, Abena, but this is not a path to be taken lightly at all, Auntie Afia said softly, her eyes fixed on the horizon. Abena looked up at her, hope flickering in her chest. What is it? Please tell me. I will do anything. There is a door that can lead you to the kind of love you desire. Abena looked up at her, hope flickering in her heart. What is it? Please tell me. I will do anything. There is a door that can lead you to the kind of love you desire. But it is a door that must not be opened without caution. It is called the third door. Abena blinked in confusion. The third door? What's behind it? Behind it is the answer to your heart's deepest wish. But be warned, no one has ever opened it without facing a great trial. The third door doesn't offer an easy path. It grants you what you seek, but it will also take something in return. It is a door of balance. Abena's heart pounded in her chest. Could this be the answer? Could this mysterious door really give me what I want? The kind of husband I want? But Auntie Afia's warning echoed in her mind. It is a door of great power, and not everyone who opens it can handle what comes next. Abena nodded, unsure whether to believe Auntie Afia, but the temptation gnawed at her. Her desperation to be loved, to be married was so overwhelming that she couldn't help but wonder, what if it worked? The days went by, and the pressure continued to build. One day, Abena couldn't take it any longer. She was invited to yet another matchmaking session by her family. And as always, nothing felt right. No suitor ever seemed to be the perfect one for her. That night, she remembered Auntie Afia's words, the third door. The words echoed in her mind like a song. She couldn't resist it. She had to see for herself what was behind that door. She had to know. And so, she went to where the third door stood. It was as though the door had been waiting for her, calling her, drawing her closer. She stood before it, her hands trembling, as she reached for the handle. As soon as she touched it, the door cracked open, as if it had been unlocked for her. Beyond it, there was nothing but darkness. Abena stepped in, her breath quickening. The air was thick, and there was an odd stillness that seemed to press in on her. Inside, a soft light appeared, illuminating a small plain wooden chest in the center of the room. It must be inside the chest. Abena approached the chest, her hands shaking with anticipation. She opened it slowly, and inside there was a small gleaming mirror. At first, she thought it was just a reflection of her own face, but the mirror began to shift, showing her the face of a man she had never seen before, but somehow knew in her heart. The man was tall, handsome, with a warm smile and eyes that sparkled with kindness. He reached out from the mirror, almost as though he was inviting her into his world. "You asked for me, Abena. You found me. Take my hand." Without thinking, Abena reached out and touched the mirror. The moment her finger brushed against it, the world around her seemed to collapse. The ground shook and the air turned cold. She gasped as the man stepped out of the mirror, his form shifting into something darker. His eyes, once warm, turned black, and his smile twisted into something cruel. "You wanted me, Abena, but you never asked what I would take in return." The man's voice was now deep. Before she could react, everything around her dissolved into darkness. She tried to scream, but her voice was silenced by an overwhelming force. She felt herself falling as though trapped in a nightmare. Abena woke up in her own bed, drenched in sweat. She was still in her family house, but everything felt different. The air was thick, and there was a coldness in the room she couldn't shake. She rushed to the mirror, desperate to see if the man was real or just a dream. What she saw made her heart stop. Her reflection was no longer her own. Her eyes were empty, her smile twisted into something dark and unnatural. Though she still looked like Abena in the physical, but she was no longer the Abena she once knew. The third door had taken more than she realized. It hadn't just promised her love, it had consumed her very essence. As she looked deeper into the mirror, she saw it, the man, standing behind her. His eyes were cold, and he was smiling, but it wasn't a smile of warmth. It was a smile of victory. The price of her curiosity, her desperation, had been far greater than she ever imagined. She had traded her peace for love, but it wasn't the love she had wanted. And now, Abena was trapped in the very thing she had sought. Desperation, unfulfilled desires, and an eternal search for something that could never be truly hers. Moral lessons. Desperation can lead to dangerous choices. Abena's desperation for love led her to make a choice she wasn't prepared for, teaching us that acting out of desperation can lead to irreversible consequences. While Abena sought for the kind of love she thought she wanted, she did not fully understand the price it would cost her. Sometimes getting what you want isn't really what is. The things we think we want most may not bring the happiness we expect. True love is not always what we expect. True love requires patience and understanding, not desperation. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.